Hey guys, welcome back to Angel Angela. And on today's topic, you guys, we're going to be talking about breaking out of the narcissist cult. So I named the title Narcissist Cult because the biggest deception that there is, we can say, hey, this person's a religious narcissist. This person is he's a player. We can make a lot of names. At the end of the day, they are all narcissists, meaning we are in a war between good and bad, meaning we might all have individualities, but we can agree to disagree and we can agree not to be around each other, and we don't have to hate each other. But since this is becoming such a great epidemic, within the millenniums, and the millenniums also exposing all of the old narcissists, because a lot of these narcissists, let's just think of outside of a narcissist relationship, most narcissists are in a cult. And there's always two sides to every story, because most narcissists are portraying to be something in front of you. They're giving you an illusion, but behind closed doors, they're a completely different person. And most narcissists are going to be sometimes the quietest person in the room. I've had many narcissists that I've spoken to who, at the moment I didn't know they were narcissists, but they had, bluntly told me, like, yeah, I usually don't talk a lot, around girls. I usually act really quiet, because even though I know that's what I know I want her, I'm going to pretend like I don't like her, and I'm going to give more attention to her friend. Everything that the narcissist cult does, it's always with an agenda. When you're a free person, you don't have an agenda, and you do not judge people, even if you disagree with certain things, of course. So, first and foremost, you guys, we have to understand what a cult is. A cult is a social group that is defined by its unusual religious, spiritual, philosophical beliefs, or by its common interest in a particular personality, object, or goal. So when being with a narcissist, or being around people who you might suspect being narcissists, this could be anyone, a coworker, a friend, boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, anyone, you guys. If this person, their religious group is what defines this person, if their spirituality is what defines this person, their beliefs, not saying that, if you have a goal and things like that, like you're in a cult, but if you don't know why you're in that group, if you don't know why you're in that religion, if you don't know how you got there, if all you know is that you're there based on tradition, if you know that certain things aren't correct, but you don't feel like it's your place to say anything, chances are that you're either in a cult or you're around people who are in a cult. So another thing you can also pay attention to, you guys, is know why is it that you're in this group? What are your strong beliefs that led you to being in this group? Is this group a group that's inviting, or is this group harmful to others or harmful to myself, meaning physically, spiritually, psychologically? Do I have free will? Will I be loved even after making certain mistakes? Will I be loved even after? Will I be forgiven? Another thing you can also pay attention to is we all know what good or bad is. So in this group, or in this cult that you're in, are you able to debate about real life situations, or are certain things out of topic, or they shut you down, or this person shuts you down? They don't want to hear how you feel. You might feel strongly about something, and you want to tell these people how you feel, or you want to tell these people what are the things that you want to do or goals, and you notice withdraw from these people. It doesn't seem as they're being real with you. It seems like almost like they're acting. Or in situations where you really need a friend or a shoulder or something, and it's kind of like they're kind of disgusted. They don't want to see you cry. They don't want to see any of that. It's not that it's a very non-compassion type of behavior. It's a difference between someone who's already went through pain and they're watching someone else, go through pain, and, maybe they're kind of numb because they've been through so much, but the empathy will still be there. And what you will notice that a lot of these narcissist cults, these people are very heartless. And once one person is against you, everyone else will also be against you. And this is why there's a lot of people who, call themselves the black sheep of the family. So how are these cults, these narcissist cults, how are they started? So a lot of these narcissist cults, you guys, they're started by cliques. I know you guys have heard of cliques, like when you're in high school and, you have the jocks, you have the cheerleaders, you have the gamers, the musicians, you have, the artistic people, you have the stoners, you have different types of groups. See, but the problem with finding yourself in a clique is that you never got to experience your individuality. So a lot of times when you end up in a clique, in the near future, you will find yourself in a cult. So it's kind of like you're getting programmed since birth till you leave high school, because you're not understanding, and your parents or they're not understanding, or your ancestors or certain people that, their ancestors went through some type of trauma. It's almost like their ancestors have Stockholm syndrome and they're passing it along. They form a cult and they stay in those cults with that belief that it's supposed to be like this no matter what. As times are changing, they are not changing with time. As time changes, we have to change. We have to analyze things. We have to meditate. We're supposed to go through seasonal people. But if you don't do that, you end up stuck. A lot of those people find themselves in cults because they're stuck and they need a way out and they don't know how else to get out. But once they get in those cults, they're doing things against the greater good, unknowingly, just because they're so in that matrix depression. So when you're young, you guys, this is when you're supposed to just start finding your individuality. So before you go out into the wilderness, it's kind of like animals. You know, when a bear has its bear cub, for example, you know, just right out the top of my head. If a bear has a bear cub, it's not just going to let the cubs run wild. It's going to teach them. It's going to teach them how to hunt their food, how to survive, and all these things. But what happens is that before we learn our individuality and we learn about different aspects of life, they throw us right into kindergarten, right into preschool, right into school. We find ourselves getting teased by other kids or whatever the situation is. So we're not growing into our individuality. We're automatically thrown into the world, into the wilderness. And we have to basically learn on our own as savages. So we're like savages at these schools, learning on our own. And certain people in their little cliques and their packs are like, you're not allowed over here. You're not a lion. You're not a lion, or you're not a rabbit. You're a turtle. Go over there. So this is how these different cliques, you know, end up separating themselves. But at the end of the day, they're all animals. They're just different groups of animals, some more vicious than others. So when you break the narcissist cult, you realize you've been living in a world where bad is good and good is bad. So loving yourself might cause you to be alone, leaving the matrix oppression filled with narcissists. A lot of these people that are in this cult that point you out, that make you the black sheep because you point out these things, you point out their hatred. You have to understand that these people are robots. They are the Tin Man, you know, just like on the Wizard of Oz, it was a Tin Man and Dorothy gave him life. You know, he started talking and everything. And this is how it works. Sometimes we ourselves are in this humanoid position and we're terminating people unknowingly until someone terminates you. And it's easy to be angry, but it's easier to forgive and enjoy the journey of life and understand that anyone can turn on you. And always remember that a lot of these narcissist cults, these narcissist people, they are filled with charm. They are filled with love. And this is because you will never understand that the enemy is standing right in front of you. They're stealing from you, stealing your joy, stealing your peace of mind. They're coming to destroy your life, to literally steal from you and take from you and help you look for it. That's what these narcissist people do, and that's what these narcissist cults do. So the only way to get through these things is to have faith, you guys, and fear no man but God. And be happy. Be happy that you were that person to ask questions. Be happy that you were that person to say, hey, I'm not going to do what is tradition. I'm not going to do what I'm programmed to do. I will not be a robot anymore. I will decide what is good and bad for me. Whatever to keep me functioning. Because there's a lot of people in these humanoid suits that are literally terminators. They're terminators. So I wanted to drop this video. I might have not, I kind of freestyled what I really wanted to say to you guys, but I hope that you guys were able to get different things out of this video to help you. And always remember that no matter what anyone says, no matter what anyone preaches, it is your wisdom at the end of the day. Some people, tell you might need a counselor, you might need a therapist, you might need a doctor, you might need something, a mentor, but you don't need anyone, you guys, but God. All you need is God, yourself. If you're able to love yourself and fear no one but Him, then nothing can break up the peace of your mind, and it will be so easy to spot right through these narcissists and keep yourself out of a narcissist cult. We as human beings, we have spirits. We are great people. Our brains, our spirits, our souls can do so much. But because a lot of times we're in these cults and we're going through things, we can't see it that way. Because everyone is living their life based off of some type of narcissistic cult, religion, tradition. So how many times, by someone putting you in a category or putting you in a group, oh, that's a cheerleader, that's a jock, the cheerleader, she's gonna act like she thinks she's the prettiest girl in the school. People start making their assumptions of you. So based on how you look, how you dress, or based on even your friends, people will always make assumptions of you and misjudge you. And this is because of their lack of wisdom. So experience in cults brings wisdom, you guys. The gift that you will receive when you finally wake up and open your eyes to what is good and what is bad, when you finally realize these things, you will be able to look around you. You would be able to put yourself in the next person's shoes, understand them. A lot of times when we aren't able to understand certain people and what they go through, God will force us into going through those things just so we can actually understand what that person, their path and the path that they have been walking all along. A lot of times when you're in a cult, you are filled with hate, you are filled with judgment. It's a I am right, you are wrong mentality. And when you finally leave these cults and these people, you will come to find out that you can handle situations with love. You can also be able to talk to people, and things that do not make sense to you or things that you may not understand still, by you talking to other people and just hearing them out, even if you may not agree with their beliefs, just by handling the conversation with love and respect, you will see that you will come across some people that are very narcissistic, that would argue back with you, who want to be right and you're wrong. And you will never win with those people because they are in a cult. Their mind does not expand to a level where they can show you love and they can say, hey, I disagree with this, but I love you, or I disagree with you with this, but hey, maybe one day, something that you said might make sense to me. Something that that you don't understand that I'm speaking of, you might not understand right now in this moment, but maybe later on in life you might go through something and you might remember me, and you might remember the things that I said in my advice and my experiences, and they might be able to help you out and give you hope. But see, when we argue with each other about all these cults and narcissistic behaviors, we take away the hope. So narcissists are people who take away the hope. So I want you guys to leave your comments down below. Let me know if you've been in a cult of some kind where you didn't feel as if you were fulfilling your free will. A lot of times it's okay to be in groups, but we always have the choice of free will, and can't anyone tell us our destiny based on our past, because our past is part of our story and we are making history. Our stories are all different, but it's our stories, you guys. So don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, and I'll talk to you guys on the next one. Bye.